Oh, hey, so I hear you're looking for a YouTube video, huh? Oh, how much for this one? Well, how about you tell me, eh? Hails, Maidens, and Mortals, this is Fang from Lords of the Trident, and look, I'm gonna come out and just admit it. I am not currently making a living off of my music, although we do have the support of a bunch of incredibly amazing people on Patreon. No, really, we really couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. It's no secret that the music industry is currently in a state of major upheaval. The glory days of gold-plated Shark Tank bars are pretty much over for musicians. Almost nobody is making a living off of their music nowadays. From the figures that I've been able to research, your average, B+ to A- grade famous musician. I mean, we're not talking Beyonce, but we're talking about somebody who has multiple albums, tours the country, and has a pretty darn big fan base. The average income for that type of a person is around $45,000 a year. Now, you may say, well, $45,000 a year is pretty good for being bussed around and playing songs every night for screaming fans. And that's true, but it's definitely not a let's buy our second mansion sort of salary. And again, we're not talking Justin Bieber, we're not talking Beyonce, we're talking more of like a Devin Townsend sort of a musician. In fact, this actually comes from Devin Townsend himself. He said on the Music Business Facts podcast that he makes roughly around $45,000 a year. Now, I don't know about you, but I would call Devin Townsend famous. And if that's the amount of money that a signed, famous metal act is making, then your regional, semi-sort of famous metal bands are probably making, like, negative money. Now, hopefully you're breaking even. A lot of bands don't. Blame it on the economy, blame it on the internet, blame it on whatever you want. But the fact remains that our traditional payment model for music is already gone. It's already crumbled. So you need to evolve with the times in order to keep your band afloat. Now, most of you seasoned musicians out there are already gonna know that 75% of any of the money that you're gonna take in on any given night is gonna come from your merch booth. So it makes sense to put resources into that area to make the booth as successful as it possibly could be. The problem is that due to stagnation of wages for, I don't know, the last 30 years or so, it's not just musicians that don't have money. Most 18 to 35 avocado toast loving, home can affording millennials also are a little low on the Benjamins. I mean, I'm technically a millennial even though I don't have a beard and I don't really like avocados, and I certainly don't have $100 to just nonchalantly drop at a merch booth of a band that I really like. Peabody, fetch my Lexus, will you? Oh, and also please give these fellas some pocket change. They smell like old leather couches and ramen. A new popular pricing model has grown out of this problem. Pay what you want. By now you're probably familiar with this, as many famous bands like Radiohead and Nine Inch Nails, and also indie video game developers, Cards Against Humanity, they've all been using this model. The gist of it is this: you allow customers to pay anything they want for your product, sometimes including even $0. But Fang, bro, if I let people pay what they want, they're just gonna take my CDs and not give me any money or anything. I mean, that's bogus. Yes, that's true. Some people might do that, but other fans will probably pay double or even triple what you would have normally charged them. Real life example, we used to sell our full-length CDs for $10. Once we went to a pay-what-you-want model, most people would just come up to the merch booth, drop a $20 bill, take one CD, and walk away. There are some situations where pay-what-you-want works, and some situations where it doesn't. And there are some psychological tricks that you can use to help increase your sales and the amount that people will pay. So let's break down some of the things that I've learned about the pay-what-you-want model. Know what and why you're selling. In the book Smart Pricing, it suggested that successful pay-what-you-want campaigns are categorized by the following. 1. A product with low marginal cost. 2. A fair-minded consumer. 3. A product that can be sold credibly at a wide range of prices. 4. A strong relationship between buyer and seller. And 5. A very competitive marketplace. So, in terms of products we could do on pay-what-you-want, well, let's see if our CDs fit these things. A product with a low marginal cost. How much did your CD cost to make? If it's over $5 per CD, you're paying way too much. Our latest gatefold digipack, complete with 10-page color insert and, all the bells and whistles, cost us about $1.20 per CD. I'd call that pretty low marginal cost. CDs are great on the pay-what-you-want model because you'll usually have a large inventory of them. You'll usually buy 500 to 1,000 discs at once. They're relatively cheap to produce, and they connect a fan to the concert experience. And also, a fan that has your music can listen to it pretty much anywhere and share it with friends. It also fits point number 3, a product that can be sold credibly at a wide range of prices. I don't know about you, but I've paid $5 for some CDs, $15 for others, and there was one artist that I really liked where I voluntarily paid $50 for a CD. Shirts, vinyl, DVDs, those sort of things are not so great on the pay-what-you-want model. Sure, you might be printing your own t-shirts. If you're not, what the hell is wrong with you? And the cost per shirt could be $5 or less, but I don't know about you, I don't usually have a glut of, 900 shirts lying around, plus the time to screen print all those shirts is costly as well in a different way. Also, unless you're buying designer stuff, I don't really feel like there's a wide range of acceptable prices for a t-shirt. I think a t-shirt usually is around 10 to 20 bucks. I mean, sure, we've all paid $35 for the Iron Maiden tour shirt, at the merch booth, but let's admit it, that felt like a little bit of a ripoff, didn't it? See, look at this bullshit Gildan shirt. It's not even soft style. What the hell? All this being said, if you've had an experience, good or bad, at selling your shirts at Pay What You Want, let me know in the comments below. Points number 2 and 4, a fair-minded consumer and a strong relationship between the buyer and the seller go hand in hand. And that's why I recommend that you only use Pay What You Want at live shows unless you have an incredibly strong fan base. It's super easy to sit behind a monitor and say, I'm gonna pay $0 for this MP3 album. It's a lot harder to look a musician in the face and say, yeah, your CD's not worth anything, I'm just gonna take it for free. Is that gonna happen? Maybe, probably not. But in the words of Martin Atkins, as an artist, you've gotta be able to take your balls out and put them on the table and hand the consumer a sledgehammer and hope that they won't crush you too horribly. Side note here, because our fans are so amazing, we've actually had decent success at doing Pay What You Want online on our merch store. We did put in some safeguards though. You do have to still pay a minimum amount, like I think it's $2, and you have to pay for shipping. Double side note, no, seriously guys, this has actually been one of the most amazingly successful changes we've made at our merch booth ever. Since implementing it like 6 or 7 years ago, our CD sales, the amount of money we've made for them, has doubled or tripled. And I can only think of maybe like 4 times that a person has paid less than $5 for a CD. Well, Sarah Longfield was tipsy once and she paid me in a bead bracelet, this specific bead bracelet, but she's kind of famous now, so I'm not going to count that one.
I did do that, yes.
And finally, point number 5, a very competitive marketplace. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. It is not hard at all to find music nowadays. So, what are the best strategies to make Pay What You Want work for you? Number 1, try having a leaderboard. This is actually an idea that I've stolen from Henry Ford. We have a little whiteboard that we mark down the top amount that someone has paid for a CD in the Pay What You Want model. It gives them a little recognition, and it gives the other people buying CDs kind of something to shoot for, Oh, maybe I want to be number 1 on the board. Point number 2, have a suggested price range. Like we said earlier, a fair price for a CD could be, heck, just about anything. So it helps to have a suggested price range. For our EPs, we usually say a suggested price of $5 to $10. For our full lengths, we say $10 to $15. But that price point is up to you. Just make sure that you are offering a fair range for what people are getting. Point number 3, make a human connection, be at the merch booth. This is probably the most important part of the Pay What You Want model. It is way, way easier for somebody to overpay or donate to somebody that they know rather than to some random merch guy or girl. After the show, go to the merch booth and make it a place for people to hang out, to congregate, to get autographs and ask questions. If you make a human connection with somebody, they are way, way more likely to help you out. And basically, it's making it so that anybody with a conscience is not going to take a CD for free. Even better, that human connection that you make might turn into somebody who's a super fan for life. And that is worth so much more than money. And I get it, it may be really hard for you to divorce yourself from the idea of a set price for a CD. It certainly was for me, but trust me, give it a shot. I absolutely guarantee that you will see results. Do you have a pay what you want success story? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. This show is directly supported by our fantastic, amazing backers on Patreon at patreon.com/Lords of the Trident. So if you want to help us conquer the world one city at a time, join us today at patreon.com/Lords of the Trident, and we will see you next time.